Hey everybody, happy 454 Friday and welcome to my weekly Tommy Talk. I want to open up with the illustration of an automobile, a car. And in the car, you have your steering wheel, you have your windshield, which is huge, and you have that little rear view mirror that's about that big or so. Pretty small in comparison to the windshield. And why is it that it's not the opposite? Why isn't the rear view mirror this big and the windshield going forward this big? That's because we're going forward. We're going forward. We're living in the future. We're heading ahead in whatever we may do in life. So you have your hands on 10, you have your head 10 and 2, and you start trucking down that road to life. It's very simple. So we want to look at, in this illustration, the rear view mirror as the past that's in your head. And of course, your hands are the future is in your hands, and they are on the steering wheel safely. Okay, but here's a point that I want to, before I go on about this illustration, that I need to add to this, and that's the ability to be positive, to have a positive attitude. Being positive is one of the most important characteristics that a human can possess and practice and share. Is trying to be positive. I know it's hard. It's easier said than done, let me tell you, because the way this world is, everybody's stressed, everybody's in paranoia, depressed, various things like this. But having a positive attitude is very, very important. And so I want to look at let's look at the fuel of the automobile, let's say, is your positive attitude. That's what gets you going down the road. So imagine if you ran low on gas, on fuel, until you went empty, what would happen? You ain't going nowhere. So what you do is you keep an eye on the indicator, and when it starts to get down low enough, when your emotions get low, when your positivity gets low, when your fuel gets low, you just go fill it up, whatever means it takes. Self-help talks, self-help videos, listen to my Tommy Talks. I mean, do whatever you can. Put yourself around people who are positive. And this is how you get your recharge. This is how you fuel back up. Okay? So positive attitude. And think about attitude. Attitude is the only thing that a human has absolute control over. How you feel or how you respond to whatever happens to you in life. That's the only thing a human has total control over. But let's go back to the illustration. The windshield and in the mirror. And as you go down the street, you're watching the big picture. Okay? You're seeing the big picture of where you're going. You're paying attention to where you're going. How often do you look in the rearview mirror? You take a little glimpse and then back to focusing on the future or going forward. Take a little glimpse. Okay, so you don't want to spend time looking in the past. Okay, and here's why I want to share with you this little definition I thought that was really neat. And I'm gonna read it as it's here on paper because I don't think I can say it any better. But this is what memories are, okay? Because the things in your head are basically memories. The things in your head, things of the past, are called memories. This is an important part of who you are today, but it's no longer active in your life now. Did you get that? Let me read that again. The memories are an important part of who you are today, but is no longer active in your life right now. And then that needs to be emphasized and really important too, because a lot of things, we've had happy times in our lives, we've got some good memories, but my goodness, man, a lot of us have a lot of bad memories. Maybe you suffered some kind of injustice, maybe you had experienced some physical, mental, emotional harm, you made bad choices, we missed some great opportunities to prosper in whatever you're doing. And so, and I'm really kind of a good example too. I mean, I love doing what I'm doing. And I want you to think that, I'm Mr. Perfect here, because I'm not. Some of you who know my history know that I've messed up a lot. I used to sell drugs. I did drugs and sold drugs. I was a state champ on Friday and I was in jail on Saturday. And probably the worst thing is I about ruined my marriage. We're still married, 47 years. Started dating at 13. That's why I didn't want to lose her. We started dating at 13. So we did all those things. But all those things, as negative as they are or as painful as they could have been, or they were, helped me to make better decisions to where I'm at now. A beautiful family, have a home, vehicles. I don't know, it's not materialistic, but I'm going to tell you that I had to make some good decisions to get where I'm at today. We have a good business. My son has a wonderful business. My daughter's a personal trainer. She's going to start up a new business up there in Red Cloud, Nebraska. And so I had to, somewhere along the line, get a good grip on that steering wheel. And the future was in my hands, so I had to make some good decisions. And so far, they panned out pretty good. So, but that leads me to the next part. The future is in your hands. And I want to read this definition too, because this is, I couldn't say it any better. But the future in your hands it's just as a part of what shaped you to make you who you are now. And what you're doing now in the present will shape what you will become in the future. Okay? So the future is in your hands. That's just as the past shaped you to who you are now. The past shaped you as to who you are now. What you're doing right now in the present will shape you to what you will become in the future. So think about that. What if you stopped to get something to eat and you got that big old Whopper from McDonald's, and you took your hand, you went down the road. I mean, sorry to say, some of us have done that, and you take your hands off the wheel. You know what could happen, could very well happen. And so you want to be careful in doing that. Or let's say you never filled up your gas tank. You didn't pay attention to the needle, and somewhere along the road in the middle of nowhere, you ran out of gas. And what if, because we're talking about shape, that definition, it said it's just as the past shaped who you are now, it made me think about potter. You know, the people that do the potter make those nice vases, and they get their hands all dirty. But what is it? Two things that they need. Well, they have three things basically: the spinning wheel, the clay, and water. Can you imagine what would happen if you didn't have any water? What kind of precious vase would that individual make? So just as fuel is like positive attitude, water in using your hands to shape your future is a positive attitude. So the past is in your head or the rearview mirror, but the future is in your hands. You do the math. It's very simple. And if you like this, please share it, and I'll see you next week. Happy 454 Friday, baby.